Hello guys, this is Tauren's Movies, and today I'll be talking about warriors and how powerful they are in the lore, covering their history, abilities, and how they would fare against other classes. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. Ever since the creation of life, warriors had existed in one way or the other. Whether it was defending their home, defeating their enemies, they have been an instrumental part in almost every battle ever. As a class, the term is extremely broad, meaning that anyone from a peasant to a blade master can be a warrior. However, there are major differences from individual to individual. Currently, all of the playable races can be warriors, but there are certain ones where warriors are a crucial part of their society. Probably the most prominent one are the Orcs, who, even though shamanistic at the core, are a warrior race. Naturally, they're physically strong, but what really makes them warriors is their clan structure and very tough upbringing. From a young age, Orcs learn to use weapons and have various trials where they fight beasts to prove themselves and even other orcs. The most distinguished warrior in history is an orc by the name of Broxigar, who managed to strike at Sargeras himself. On Azeroth, warriors have also been a big part of the world's history. One of the earliest native races were the Trolls, who at one point controlled a big part of the continent. Even though split into various tribes and groups, their culture was very unified, one built around strength and war. All of this fighting no doubt created a warrior-like society, and that was proven quite a lot when they defeated the new Old God Empire and even killed a Cathrax general. Trolls in particular have a specific subclass known as the Berserkers, who were and still are an important part of their society. Even though other races do have their own versions, Trolls are very special because they have naturally built-in regeneration, allowing them to sustain quite a lot of damage in battle. On top of this, their Berserkers partake in rituals and alter themselves alchemically, giving them the ability to grow immensely stronger and become completely wild and enraged in battle. On the other side, there are the Night Elves, who were trolls, but their warrior culture is vastly different. The Night Elven society has been druidic for a very long time, but warriors obviously played a crucial part in protecting their lands. Until recently, mostly females were warriors, and they were a part of specific branches of the army, most notably the Sentinels. The Night Elves do lack the physical strength when compared to the other more brutish races, but they definitely make up for it in agility and training. Their biggest strength was their immortality, giving them thousands of years to hone their art. Training is extremely important when it comes to warriors, and a fighter that mastered combat through 10,000 years of work is going to have an advantage over a race that only lives up to 80. One of these short-lived races are the humans, who, despite their lifespan, still are quite dominant. Originally, they were the Vrykul, who were created by the Titans and were very warlike people, with a society not that actually different from the Orcs, and even though they lost quite a bit of height and physical strength, humans still managed to take control over most of the Eastern Kingdoms. Their warriors range from King Tauren, one of the greatest ones out there, to various heroes and even regular soldiers. Despite the shorter human lifespan, they do seem to learn quick and can become very powerful. Similar in origin to the humans are the Dwarfs, who were also created by the Titans. Ever since their creation as a new race, the Dwarves have been influential not only in just fighting, but also in crafting powerful armor and weapons. They do lack the size and even the agility of the other races, but they definitely make up for it in strength and their natural toughness as titanic constructs. Another important warrior race are the Tauren, who are very much different from the Dwarves as they have both a strength and a size. Out of all of the playable races, the Tauren are the biggest and the physically strongest. In general, they're peaceful and druidic people, but their warriors are very instrumental in keeping that peace. In the ancient past, even Lei Shen, the Thunder King, captured them, impressed by how powerful the native race was. As the Tauren were enslaved for some time, they were subjected to body alterations, making them even stronger than they originally were. So, without a doubt, they are one of the best playable warrior races. Lastly, there are also the Worgen, who are very much different. Most of them today are humans, but these new abilities have significantly increased their effectiveness, also making them one of the best choices. So, that is a quick summary of the most influential races, but the question arises, what are the abilities of the warriors and how exactly do they work in the lore? Obviously, with all of these different options, they are a very diverse class, but they do have certain things in common. For example, all warriors use melee weapons, their strength comes from training and physical power, and they pretty much depend on their armaments. Of course, this can still be a very broad thing, but the general principle is simple. Warriors don't practice any real magic, and even though they might have some magic-like abilities in the game, in the lore, those don't really exist. This is obviously very much a weakness compared to other classes, but they do have their own abilities that revolve around dodging, reflecting, and even charging the spellcaster. The power of a warrior is also heavily dependent on his weapon, as magically enhanced weapons do exist in the Warcraft universe. This means that such a weapon could slice through armor and even deflect spells. A good example would be the Axe of Cenarius, which is mostly responsible for Broxigar's great achievements. Aside from this, specific subclasses have their own weaknesses and strengths, which would be a deciding factor in battle and a very significant variable. On one side, Blade Masters are elite warriors known for their agility, speed, and mastery over weapons, while Berserkers are known for pure strength, rage, and temporary immunity to pain. So, with all of these diverse abilities, how would warriors fare against other playable classes? When compared to other melee fighters, in most cases they're an equal match, but there are obviously different variables. For example, a rogue would most likely lose in face-to-face combat, but his real strength comes from stealth and poison. The monks are also very agile, and as we have seen in the Garrosh Taranzu fight, it was almost an equal match. Next to them, there are the hunters, who have the range and a pet, which is a huge advantage when fighting a warrior because there are two targets. However, in direct melee, that leverage would be almost lost. On the other side, there are two melee classes that have a very distinct advantage: the Demon Hunters and the Death Knights. Demon Hunters are pretty much demon-enhanced warriors and are much stronger and more agile than their mortal counterparts due to the ritual they went through. This means that even the most talented and trained warrior wouldn't physically be able to reach this level of fitness. The Death Knights are also in a way similar with this advantage, although they are dead and are supernaturally strong and have almost limitless stamina. Furthermore, they're capable of practicing magic, which gives them a significant advantage over pretty much any other fighters. Another comparable class that is both a melee one and a spellcaster are the Paladins, that would have an edge over warriors. The reason for this is because they are proficient in physical combat and the light, yet when it comes to strictly melee combat, the warriors, due to their very focused training, would be superior, of course if both of the fighters are on the same power level. However, just spellcasting classes like the Warlocks, Mages, and Shadow Priests would in most cases be dominant. The reason for this is because magic has way more growth potential than just melee combat. Warriors would of course be able to dodge and reflect certain spells, but if a magician is powerful enough, that would be next to impossible. Lastly, there are the druids and the shamans, where it is really hard to say as there are just so many variables in a duel. For example, the druids can shapeshift, which means that in some cases they could even best warriors just in melee, but of course most of their power comes from their magic. Because of this, they would definitely have an advantage over the warriors. In conclusion, when it comes to their ranking, I would say that the warriors on average are low on the power scale. The main reason for this is due to pretty much anyone being able to become a warrior, but certain legendary ones such as Broxigar, Gromhellscream, Thoradin, Anduin Lothar are very much on a higher level. Their focus training does help them against other melee classes, but they're still susceptible to spellcasters. So warriors are incredibly diverse with many different abilities, races, strengths and weaknesses, and even though on average they would be weak compared to others, a warrior was still one of the most important mortals to ever live. Alright, and that is all I have for this video. Do keep in mind that this series is just my opinions based on the available lore facts, and feel free to leave your own thoughts about the power of the warriors in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and like the video as it really helps out and keeps the channel going. Thanks a lot for taking the time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.